And now, from a distance, it's Michael Berger.
Yeah, I just can't get past the fact that I'm standing in my own living room waiting for me to cue me to come out and start talking to you. Good thing there was no traffic in the hallway. Hey, nice to be with you once again. I am Michael Berger from a distance. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. Things are clearly not back to normal yet. Not for me anyway. Last night I sat on the couch and I ate a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies and I watched Huell Howser. Yeah, that can't be right. By the way, they were Thin Mints and they were amazing.
That's amazing.
Anyway, in this third episode, I'm doing something a little different. I'm turning the cameras 180 degrees and I am focusing on one of the most prolific television and movie producers of our generation, Garry Marshall. I think you're going to find this interview funny, revealing, and ultimately bittersweet. Now, sitting down with your idol, having the honor of asking questions and trading quips, picking the mind of Garry Marshall and asking him what he thinks is funny, hands down, this is one of my most memorable and cherished interviews ever. In 2015, I interviewed Garry Marshall moments after he guest starred on Hot in Cleveland. They yell, "Cut!" He kisses Betty White goodbye. He walks 10 feet and then sits down with me for the interview. I mean, literally within minutes of him taking his bow. Sadly, it was only months after that interview, the one that you're about to see, Garry Marshall passes away. All I can say is that I was lucky enough to witness firsthand the legacy of his kindness and humor and talent, all of which lives on through his brilliant work. Now, I know some of you are too young to know the name Garry Marshall, but I guarantee you know his work. Probably some of your favorite movies, TV shows. How about The Odd Couple, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Joanie Loves Chachi, Angie. Classic movies like Beaches, Pretty Woman, Princess Diaries, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Mother's Day, and that just scratches the surface of his Wikipedia page. In this brief interview, in this short span of time, I guarantee he will inspire you, tickle you, and remind you why he's part of what they call the greatest generation. And with that, Garry Marshall. Oh, come in. You got some fans first. Oh, a gentleman, he gets up. Is this class? It's Garry Marshall meeting his people. Really, nothing? Nothing here? Really?
He made you laugh for 4 hours. We did 2 seconds.
Well, to the uninitiated, let's just list a few, shall we? Odd Couple, Happy Days. You take it from there. Laverne and Shirley.
Mork and Mindy.
There you go.
Angie, Joanie Loves Chachi. Then I said, what about movies?
What about movies?
We went into movies and we were very lucky with Beaches, and we did Pretty Woman, and then we did Princess Diaries, and now I do holidays. I did Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, and soon I think it's coming Mother's Day.
No
so
kidding.
look
for Mother's Day.
That's coming.
And for those old enough to watch, can we go back to Dick Van Dyke? Can we go back to Lucy?
Oh, we're going that far
You wanna
back?
go?
Well, that's when I first came to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the Bronx. It was very cold. I graduated from Northwestern University in Chicago. It was very cold.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years in Korea. It was very, very cold. And I said, I'm going to be warm. I went to Florida. I fell asleep, and I ended up here in California.
It wasn't for showbiz, it was just the weather.
Mostly.
Isn't that a long way from, as your sister described in your book, I think it's How to Get Into Showbiz and Stay There? Is that the title?
Basically, that was one. I did 2 books, so.
Well, in this book, she's describing you as a child, saying he was very sick. He didn't look good. He was green like Gumby, I think your sister said.
Yes, green like Gumby and sickly, coughing, sneezing.
Sickly. So she said you were injured so many times. Yeah. I wrote down all the times you were injured and the number of stitches required.
I do have
Let's play a game.
Let's go into my.
I'm going to give you, do you want the number of stitches and you tell me what happened to you, or I will tell you what happened to you and you tell me how many stitches? What would you like?
I'll do the stitches.
Okay, here we go. Golf ball in the eye.
05.
2. Wrestling a guy who had a compass in his pocket.
Yes.
And what happened?
That was 7 over here.
Stuck me in the leg.
Look how they'll never call because they'll think I'm just going to lay down. But I survived the stitches. What's
4. 4 stitches in the leg.
Stitches?
Yeah. A bat to the head. How many stitches?
I think that was only 2.
It was 5.
5.
Yeah, you're optimistic.
Oh, it was really bloody. That
Jungle Gym. You fell off the Jungle Gym.
Yes, hit my chin like that. Bang! Just perfect.
How many?
I thought 4.
8.
That was a bigger. When I was little, it took my.
Well, so we have one more. This is a big one. You ready?
Oh, this is a big one.
Young man sitting next to me, hit by a blue Oldsmobile.
Yes, the back of my head, I backed right in. I was catching a fly ball in the street. We play all sorts of sports with a Spalding. I think that was 10.
15.
15.
Yeah. We have a grand total of 34 stitches. And he sits among us, healthy as anybody could be. Did someone say that you got married to a certain profession? Did you marry somebody in a profession that you thought would guarantee wellness?
Well, after 34 stitches, I did marry a nurse. I thought it would be. I'm also a hypochondriac on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So we've been married a few years.
Yeah. And what's the secret to that? We had fun in the audience tonight. Why? How do you make it? And I'm always curious, what's the success? How do you make that happen?
She loved me and I loved her. Barbara Sue Wells was her name, from Ohio. And I think the key is separate bathrooms, but that's a whole other story. But you want serious?
I don't know. What do you got?
No, let's get intellectual a minute. It's a fancy
talk
show.
to me.
No, Rainier Maria Rilke, a great poet, Rilke, wrote once that the key to keeping a relationship is to be a guardian of each other's solitude. And that is very true of my marriage. I'm a writer. My wife had to guard me when I was thinking. I had to guard her when she came home from the hospital. And it is the solitude. And, I would say, guess what? The comic ripped my jokes out, and they didn't like my whole script. My wife would say, 2 people died on my floor today. Keeps you in balance.
Wow.
Keeps you in balance.
Perspective and gratitude and...
Yes.
When you're on a set like this and you see these actors that have done it for decades, and the length you've been in the business and the television you've seen, maybe it's a silly question, but are laughs easier now or when you were writing and producing and creating? What's different in the world of comedy from your beginning?
I think laughs are a little easier now because the senses have all left, and you get away with a lot more now. We couldn't say virgin on Happy Days. And we had this story about a virgin, and she went, so Fonzie couldn't say virgin, so he said she was as pure as snow, but she drifted. That was how we said virgin in the 1970s. They did some sexy jokes. I said the word bastards in this show. Would you believe that?
Well,
I couldn't even get to bass in the 70s.
Before you start playing Too Holy, let me tell you, during the break, he comes up and he tells the story behind Joanie Loves Chachi. Don't be playing Too Holy. Tell them what you said to me.
No, that was a true story because you were doing so well. I didn't want to take my shot. No, Joanie Loves Chachi was not a hit, but it was a hit in Korea. And the reason was because Chachi in Korean means penis. So Joanie Loves Chachi, they came from all over to see this show. And in America, it means Charles. Nobody rushed to see Joanie Loves Charles. Now you can actually say.
Doesn't it seem better the other way? The old way?
It made you think a lot more, but I think the rain did. When I did it, it was 3 channels. There's now 170 channels, and so you can get any type of show, and I think the censorship range has moved.
So out of 150 channels, what do you watch? Yeah.
Well, you want honest?
Yeah, what do you watch? What do you do at night? You curl up, you got the remote. What are you firing through?
Sports. Yeah. That's what
Sports
I do.
Center?
Sports. Anything with sports, I watch. No, but I check the sitcoms.
Yeah.
And when I watch, I don't want to shock you now. Hot in Cleveland.
Come on.
I watch that show because I love Betty White, and this cast is good. Wendy Malick I acted with, and and Jane from Frasier and all that.
Well, when I came
and Valerie, I knew when.
As a little?
Littler.
3 questions for you. Ready? I like
no more about stitches.
Well, there are no. Were there other illnesses you want to talk about? Do you have?
I have other things. We'll go.
You okay?
We'll go into the pneumonia area. another.
Are you sleeping through the night? You okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm all
right.
right.
Okay.
Good.
You don't get up a couple times? I get up a couple times. You get up a
Oh,
few times?
yeah. Sometimes I get up and write a pilot by the time I get back to sleep, the way it goes. But that's what happens
Isn't
when
that
you're
the old punchline? At least you get up. Isn't that an old? Yeah.
Yes, we get up.
I like ending this. I don't like ending it at all.
No,
but I got to.
you had three questions.
Well, I do have
and
three.
You went to one.
Well, I'll start with one, and then there'll be a 2 and a 3. Right? Here we go. You ready? First question.
Yeah.
What was your first job ever?
You mean not in show business or in show business?
I don't care.
My first job
First job ever.
You ready?
Here we go.
I was a fox face stuffer.
I don't know what that means.
I know.
You like a toy?
In the garment industry, they paid 65 cents an hour, and your mother or your grandmother wore a fox stole.
Sure, see.
Well, when they laid on the shoulder, they... But with me, I put cardboard in the fox's face, and that's the way the fox was. Just the perfect place. First job. It's very hard to get a date when you're telling girls this is what you do. Fox
You
face
stuff
stuff.
the fox face with cardboard and fur.
Yes,
That's not a good opener.
No, no. They would say, "See you later." We're talking to the lawyers.
Did you do well?
That was my first.
Would you do
job.
well as a young man with the ladies?
I was sick. Nobody liked somebody with a Kleenex in their nose. The girls didn't gravitate that way. But when I was well, I did meet some, and nurses often liked me.
You had a plan from the beginning.
Yeah, nurturing people.
Yeah. Worst job ever.
Worst job ever. Well, all of show business jobs I really enjoyed.
I bet.
I really liked them. Either bad or good. Sometimes they yell at you. One guy took jokes I wrote and ripped it up, and then he took it and he lit them on fire.
Oh my God!
It was a flaming rejection.
But like in front of you?
Right in front of me, yes, it went flaming into the garbage, and I stood there and said, "All right, I'll try more." And then I went home and cried, but you got to get up and keep going. But I would say the worst job was I worked on the railroad. I lasted 3 days with a pickaxe.
Oh, literally
was it.
manual labor.
Yeah, we were in the Bronx. We were making. I was a sports editor, and all the football players did that. They said, "Come on, you'll do that." Well, that was the end of that. I was sick 2 weeks after that.
That motion tells me this probably wasn't a natural motion for you.
No, a pickaxe is not my. I like a typewriter, a
it's
computer.
easier.
This is not me.
Less rotation.
Yes,
It's here.
yes, and you can't talk when you're doing it. It's very hard.
You ready for the last one?
I'm ready for the last one.
What got you here?
I was a drummer. I played the drums. My mother was a dancing teacher. I couldn't dance. She made me a drummer. And I drummed my way, and I played in nightclubs, and I played in Korea, played at college, and I would, after I played, I would hand the comedian the jokes, and they said, "Shut up and go play the drums." But slowly, some talk, I don't know if you know these people, I'm older, Phil Foster, Joey Bishop, Alan King, Buddy Hackett, those were the guys.
Wake Me When It's Funny. Phil
Yes,
Foster, right?
that's right, Phil Foster. No, what got me here was Joey Bishop and Danny Thomas.
Wow.
Said, "Come on out, leave." I was on the Tonight Show. They said, "Come out and see that, maybe they'll let you act." They said, "You went to Northwestern to lose your accent." And look how well it did.
This is the improved version
This
of
is the improved version of the accent.
But to stay, to have a legacy, 60, 70 years in the biz, what do you attribute that to?
Well, I think we were taught in the old days, which the show is about tonight, about nobody asked you how your feelings, what you were feeling. They asked you where you're working, and if you had to work, and you had to keep going to work, and that was it. That was, you had to make a living. And I guess I could tell you about my feelings and take a week off, but I don't want to. I want to work. No, my feelings were terrific today with this show, I got to say. Watching Betty White, 93 years old, get such a party. It was over 100 people out there this morning.
Yeah.
That was pretty special for me to be a part of. And I'm only 80, Ooh, I said it. That one girl I met in the audience shouldn't know I'm 80. Cut that part.
I'm going to be honest. I think she left.
She left. Ah, see?
She saw that. You know, she
She
saw
took
this.
She took one look, said fox face stuff.
That's it.
Out.
That's it. I'll tell you what I was looking forward to all day. You know, obviously I do the warm-up, but they said I had a chance to chat with you. And knowing that in the days of Happy Days, and you would come out and you would warm up with the audience, and just to sit and just have a conversation with you is what I was hoping for all day.
Well, that's nice. I did do the warm-ups. I was very shy. A lot of writers are shy.
Yeah.
No more.
No. You go over that?
Well, no, I did literally over 500 warm-ups to get out of the show.
So you saw what was going on tonight.
I watched. I saw you. We didn't have any money in those days, our shows, so we threw little candy bars.
No candy.
You sell soup and sandwiches and a whole meal here. No wonder they laugh so hard.
Well, no, wait, let's
they
be
come
fair.
for dinner.
No, wait a minute. It wasn't soup and sandwiches. Did you see any of my material? Did you think I worked the crowd at all? You're making it sound like they just got food.
Well, no, your material is very good, but after.
But wait, what was it with the pot?
No, after you make them sing and dance, they're exhausted. They have to eat. So then you feed them. It's a great combo.
Yeah, well, all right.
And you look nice. Look how well you're bundled up with a sweater.
It's 106 in here. It's just for the look.
I get cold. That's why I get sick. Don't get sick.
I won't get sick.
No.
I would love to do this again at some point.
I'm coming back.
I don't know. You want me to put a word in?
Put it in.
They usually go to the warm-up for that kind of decision.
I'm sure
I don't think they're coming to me.
Well, no, I had a good time, and part of it is talking to you.
Oh, I feel the same way.
Well, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Berger, look.
Mr. Marshall. That was nice.
All right, an hour we could do.
At least.
Hey, thank you.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Oh, God.